Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving the 2027 Kia Telluride SX Prestige. Up front is a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline-4, and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Kia Telluride because it is all new for the 2027 model year. Kia decided to skip the 2026 model year and jump right into 2027. And so today, we're going to be taking a quick look at some of the changes, some of the refreshes, and see if it really truly is better than the last. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to Gerald Kia in Naperville for letting me borrow their brand spanking new Telluride. More on them towards the end, but if you'd like to browse their inventory, you can do so down in the description below. But let's get back to that 2.5-liter turbo under the hood. Well, as of the recording of this video, that is the only engine available. However, there is a hybrid on the way that will be coming in the next several months. This makes 274 horsepower, which is good. It makes a great solid horsepower number, and it doesn't feel underpowered, it doesn't feel laggy, or that it needs much more. However, the hybrid that's coming will actually have 329 horsepower. So if you do feel the need for that little extra bump, the hybrid will deliver that. Now, like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed automatic transmission. It seems to be doing the job. You know, some of the early Santa Fe's that had this transmission a couple years ago definitely had some issues. It seems like Kia has worked those issues out, which is very good. It's a solid transmission from there on out. However, again, the hybrid will get a 6-speed automatic. Last but not least, this particular Telluride is all-wheel drive. However, you can find them in front wheel. How does it feel to drive the Kia Telluride? Well, it drives pretty much the same as the outgoing model. It's a decent size SUV, so it has a lot of road presence, but the ride is comfortable enough. This is going to be a fantastic around town vehicle. Visibility is pretty decent for an SUV, which you always have to grade on a curve. Ride quality's been good, throttle's been good, and I'm pretty happy with that 274. However, again, the hybrid will have more horsepower if that's something that you want. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. I really like this. I think it's pretty clear and easy to read, and of course, you can swap it around and give yourself some different information. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as our cruise control, and off to the right, we have skip, track, and mode, volume, phone options, but down in the center, we get our drive mode and terrain mode select. So for drive mode, we have Eco, Normal, Sport, and My Drive. My Drive will be that custom mode. But then if we go over to terrain, we have snow, mud, and sand. Very, very cool to see that offered here in the Telluride. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent. We have our power parking brake, gauge dimmer switch, tailgate, tow mode, auto start stop on and off, and traction control off. And moving on to the door, we do have our Meridian speaker. We have our heated steering wheel, heated seat, ventilated seat, and memory seat options all right here on the door. Absolutely love this pairing. And down below, we have our power mirrors, power windows, and power locks. Moving into the center, we do get our infotainment display. This sort of carries on from the gauge cluster. It's meant to look like one giant screen, and I like that. We do have the climate controls integrated here, and my only issue with the touchscreen controls, honestly, is that with the steering wheel, it actually sort of blocks the view a little bit, which is slightly annoying. So I wish that they were positioned a little bit different, but at the end of the day, they work well, and it's fine. We do have a 360 camera here in the SX Prestige, which is very, very nice to see. And this carries over Kia's usual infotainment. It does look pretty nice, and it does change with the drive modes. So the coloring will change, which I really, really like. Also, for those keeping track at home, they have added 2 more sounds of nature for twilight and bold-like music. So very interesting there. Down below, we do have some buttons for home, maps, search, media, favorites, and setup. We have 2 climate control vents with a volume roller in the center, And we do have physical buttons for the temperature as well as fan speed. So if you don't want to use that touchscreen, you do have physical buttons for the most used climate controls, and I like that a lot. We have the hazard switch in the center of that. Then we have 3 symmetrical USB-Cs and 2 wireless chargers. So all of your charging needs will most certainly be met here in the new Telluride. Then we have some physical buttons for auto holding brake, hill descent control, our camera button, and our parking sensors button. We have a nice big center cubby space and cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the new Kia Telluride. And unfortunately, yet semi-predictably, it fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we have a large center console and the seats. The seats do have X-Line on them. Absolutely love that. But they also are heated, ventilated power, and memory. So really, really fantastic features here in the Telluride. They've been very comfortable in my time with the vehicle, which is always a good thing to see and feel. However, speaking of seats, we do have 2 more rows of seating. So let's go do some backseat reviews. All right, getting in the back of the new Telluride, as you'll see, they have adopted the EV9's door handles for the Telluride. Kind of interesting there. But stepping inside, this is fantastic space. Not only do I have space behind my driving position, but I do get some storage in the back of the seat. We have cup holders, we have USB-C chargers on either side. Absolutely love that. And I'm 5'11", not a small guy. I fit back here pretty well. I'm comfortable. I have headroom up here. We do have climate vents. Love to see that. And our own climate controls. Fantastic. We get our own sunroof that's actually larger than the front sunroof. Just absolutely wonderful. This is definitely a nice place to be. As a bigger guy, I can't always say that about vehicles, really in general, but especially vehicles in this segment. I fit back here very, very well. And that is such a huge thumbs up. But the big test is going to be that 3rd row, which is behind me. So let's hop back there. All right, so the 3rd row is a little lacking for a guy like me. I can't even really get my feet and my legs back into this chair. These seats are 100% if you need them seats. If your niece or nephew's in town, if your kid, wants to bring some friends with them to soccer practice, that sort of thing, these seats will work, especially for kids. As a big grown car reviewer adult, I don't love it back here. We do get cup holders, which is very nice, and USB-C chargers on both sides. Love to see that. So plenty of amenities back here. It's just not super comfortable for big guys like me, but most 3rd rows aren't. Something to keep in mind, but it works. Let's hop into the back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, stepping around the back here, this gold is amazing. It really reminds me of like Goldfinger from James Bond. Absolutely love that. Push the button under here. It is a power-operated tailgate, of course. And once we are back here, a couple of things to note. First of all, over here, we do have a 12-volt outlet. Great feature. We have some tie downs and hooks and things like that. We can pull up the floor. We do get some storage under there and of course some safety equipment. And we do have buttons for lowering the 2nd row. So tons and tons to love back here. It's a pretty simple cargo space beyond that, but we can come up here. We can either turn it off or just do the simple power tailgate right back down, just like that. Love to see it from Kia. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is obviously the biggest change here for the Telluride for the 27 model year. It looks, honestly, fantastic. Now, Gerald Kia in Naperville, they got a few of these in, but all of the other ones were black, and it really hides the cool accenting. This is in a very, very cool sand metallic, and I love it. I think it looks fantastic, and I love the design of the new Telluride. I think they really hit it out of the park, and people have started to compare this exterior styling to that of Range Rover. So, Kia is doing something right when it's in the same conversation as Range Rover, and this is going to be a fraction of that price. So, I think it looks absolutely killer. It looks fantastic, and I am just head over heels for this redesign. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the all-new Kia Telluride? Well, that's the thing. It's not really all new. We've seen the 2.5-liter turbo from Kia and Hyundai before. It's not really that new. And all of this in here feels very familiar in its new packaging. Kia products have been trialing some of these features over the last several years. And that's actually a really good thing. The best thing a product could be is feeling new without actually being new. Because this drivetrain is now proven. The technology in here isn't buggy because they've used it before, but they've created something that is new, or at least new feeling. You're going to get in this car and you're going to feel like it is a brand new car. You're going to drive it for the next couple years and still feel like you are at the forefront of technology with that screen, with the heated ventilated seats, with all the design cues in here. It feels very futuristic. It feels very modern. And yet under the skin, even though it might not be the most modern ideas being put into place, that's a good thing. Because if you buy one today and it needs service tomorrow, they're going to know how to work on it. It's not a complete unknown. And that's a very, very good spot to be in. Overall, I think this is really an incredibly well executed update for the Telluride, which is one of their best selling products and had only ever had a first generation. So I'm excited to see and happy to see that Kia is finally stepping into the future with one of their best products, and I think it is incredibly good. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Gerald Kia in Naperville for letting me borrow their Telluride for today's video. They're absolutely wonderful. Please go check them out with the link down in the description below. I have worked with them for years and years and years and always been happy with how I've been treated and the inventory of which they keep. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.